And now for the simple yet powerful question I want you to ask yourself. Are you experiencing laziness or are you just afraid? Now, here's what I mean. Oftentimes we confuse our fear of failure with not being motivated. So many of us are scared to put ourselves out there to truly fight for our wildest hopes and dreams. We're afraid that if we try our absolute hardest for our dream and then if we don't achieve it, then our identity will be destroyed. Today, we are going to discuss something that holds so many of us back from achieving our ultimate human potential, and that is laziness and lack of motivation. Now, we all know we need to rest and we deserve time to recharge, but I've found that so many talented individuals spend so much time over the years never taking action on their dreams. They push them down, they promise themselves that they'll eventually get to it, and all too often, one of life's greatest tragedies happen as a result. The dreams these individuals have, they die inside of them. And we all know people who have been in that situation, and it's truly heartbreaking to witness someone with so much potential. And that's the last thing I want for you, which is why I wanted to tackle this issue in today's episode. And I'm going to give you the 3-step blueprint to destroy your laziness once and for all. We'll also cover the mindset shifts you need to make, the critical question you need to ask yourself, and the proven tools to help you get motivated and stay motivated for the long haul of your life. All right, I want you to get out a pen and a piece of paper, and let's jump in right now. Before we really get into this, we must discuss the process to overcome laziness. And I think it's important that we take time to set the stage for this conversation with a mindset shift and a question. So first, the mindset shift. I want you to understand that laziness, procrastination, and the lack of motivation is 100% natural. It's something that's embedded in our biology, and that even the world's top performers deal with this, okay? So you don't have to feel bad if you feel lazy sometimes. Most importantly, it's something that you should never feel ashamed of. This is what everyone deals with. And there are ancient journal entries from the Emperor of Rome, Marcus Aurelius, where he's convincing himself why he should get out of bed in the mornings. Now think about that for a second. The most powerful person in the world at the time was trying to persuade himself to get out of his warm and comfortable bed. And in the text, he talks about his responsibilities and how they would still be waiting for him even after he slept in. Now, if Marcus Aurelius struggled with it, then us struggling to wake up in the morning doesn't automatically make us lazy. It's just something we all deal with. And now for the simple yet powerful question I want you to ask yourself. Are you experiencing laziness or are you just afraid? Now, here's what I mean. Oftentimes we confuse our fear of failure with not being motivated. So many of us are scared to put ourselves out there to truly fight for our wildest hopes and dreams. We're afraid that if we try our absolute hardest for our dream and then if we don't achieve it, then our identity will be destroyed. Our image will be destroyed. So we protect it by not taking action on the things we know we need to do. And I'm here to tell you that this is a very dangerous game you're playing if you tie your identity and your gifts to failure and successes. Now, if you're a filmmaker, a box office flop doesn't mean you aren't a great filmmaker. If you're an author, then rejections from agents and publishers doesn't mean you aren't a great writer. It's okay to fall flat on your face when pursuing your goals. This is natural. It happens. It's actually the pathway to achieving your goals. The only thing that isn't okay is not pursuing them at all because you're afraid of the outcome. So before moving on to the next part of this episode, be sure to determine if you're being lazy lately or if you're simply being afraid of trying your absolute hardest to reach your goals. Okay, now that we've set the stage, it's time to dig a little bit deeper with the 3-step framework to keep you motivated in times of overwhelm or feeling of laziness. So step 1 is to start with a single strategic change. Now let me break this down. When it comes to overcoming lack of motivation, one of the biggest mistakes I see is that people are trying to change everything all at once. Now, is this you? You try to change your diet, your food plans, when you're waking up, all these habits all at once, and then you're exhausted after 3 days. On the other hand, another common mistake I see is people trying to change too little at once. So where do you start then? And how can you meet in the middle? The best of both worlds here is starting a single strategic change to your habits. Let me break it down. Nearly all behavioral patterns can change by shifting one root habit first. And once you do, the rest of the habits will follow as a result. So this is similar to the principle that Jay Papasan and Gary Keller talk about in their hit book, The One Thing. And I think it will make a massive difference in your life and in your habits. So here's a good place to start. Take a few minutes to identify the bad habit that lies beneath your inability to wake up early and start the day off with a bang. Now, most of the time, the answer isn't what you first expect it to be. So the trick is to go just a little bit deeper underneath that. So for instance, maybe you think you're incapable of waking up early. Maybe you've been a night owl your entire life, and that's what's worked for you. But when you think about it a little bit further, you realize that you have a habit of going out with your friends for drinks most nights, or you want to always go out and party, and that makes you a night owl. In this example, it's more than likely the habit of drinking and staying out late that's keeping you from becoming a morning person than you being unable to become a morning person yourself. And if you work late hours or the graveyard shift and physically can't wake up early in the morning, then maybe your simple strategic change would be using your day off to meal prep for the week ahead. Now, what happens to a lot of people who work unusual hours is that they're so tired by the time they get home that they end up eating fast food or unhealthy snacks. And as a result, their energy levels are even lower than they should be. Then they have little to no motivation to chase after their dreams, and they end up resenting themselves and their job as a result. And then the cycle just continues to go on and on. For so many people, their simple strategic change should just be getting more sleep. It's hard not to be lazy and unmotivated when you're physically exhausted and emotionally drained from lack of sleep. So that's one thing you got to think about. For me personally, it all comes back to my physical health. Now, when I am in control of my body and I take great care of it consistently, my mind is sharper as well. Whether it's, playing sports, handball, boxing classes, or just hitting the gym, my commitment to physical health is one of the things that sets me up for everything else in my life. So no matter what you choose to start with first, the most important thing for step one is doing the due diligence here to dig a little bit deeper. And again, what is the root cause of the thing holding you back from being more consistently motivated? Is it a poor diet? Is it too much alcohol? Is it too little sleep? And once you pinpoint it and take action to reverse it, everything else will get a little bit easier to be motivated.